think of numbers, you probably think of basic numbers like these. But there are so many advanced alternatives, and in this lesson we're going to look at over 80 words for numbers, including lots of C1 English and C2 English words, and using these is going to make your English really advanced. First of all, there are lots of other ways to say the word one. Now, one way to do this is using a root of a word which is soul. So a lot of words beginning S-O-L mean one. For example, solo. And this means on one's own. The explorer travelled solo around the world. This means they travelled as one person with no one else. You could also use the word solitude, which means to be alone in peace. You're on your own, everything is quiet, but the sense of the meaning is you're just one with no one else. Or soul just means only. I was the sole person at the party. No one else came. There was just one person, soul. Another root of a word that means one many times is uni. There are lots and lots of words in English that begin uni, which is used to give the sense of one. For example, unique means there's only one of this type. I could say this: the museum is unique. It is the only one in the country. So there's no others. If something is unique, it's just one of them. Or I could say the word unit, which simply means one item. Imagine you have lots of different things, and one of them is sometimes described as a unit, particularly in mathematics. You can also say unify. Unify is to take many things and bring them together and make them like one. Unicycle is this strange looking cycle which only has one wheel. Often clowns use it. People sit on top, somehow they balance on it, but it's only got one wheel, and the word uni tells us there's one of the wheel. Have you ever seen young children with toys like this? A unicorn. Now, why is it a unicorn? Because it only has one horn at the top. But all these words start with uni to give the sense that they mean one. And there's another root that's very common that means one as well, which is mono. In some parts of the world, we have trains that only have one rail beneath them. Most trains have two rails. But in countries like Japan, sometimes there's only one rail, and we call this a monorail. So we could say this: a monorail runs through Tokyo in Japan. Monotone means there's only one sound. It stays the same. We often use this to describe something that's quite boring. So there's a sound that doesn't have much variation. Normally in music we like a lot of variation in tone, but if it's monotone then it's really just one, and it's not really as we expect it to be. Monopoly is when one country or one person or one organisation controls everything in the area. Can you think of a company that's bigger than all other companies in their sector? If they are, they're called a monopoly. And there are lots of other words that have this meaning of one as well. Only means no others, so really just one. Whole is when we think of something being just as one. Sometimes the number one is called a whole to contrast it with 0.5 or 0.7 or a half or other fractions. A whole means one. Singular. This is often used, we use this in grammar sometimes, to talk about nouns which are singular or plural. If something is singular, there's only one of it. Particular focuses on one thing out of many. Sometimes it can be used as a plural too, but quite often particular takes your eyes and says, look at this one thing. And discrete is a more advanced word, which a C2 level learner should know, but below C2 it might not be used that much. A discrete item often is used in research to say that this is separate from other items. It's just one item that we can say is different in some way. So that's a really good word to use if you're trying to reach a really advanced level of English. So those are words meaning one. Now, you may be surprised that there are many words we use that also mean two. And one common way of starting words beginning that mean two is to use du at the start of a word. And here's 3 examples. There's many more, but here are just a few examples. Duo, duet, duel. And they're all fairly high-level advanced words to know. First of all, duo means 2 people who perform together, or 2 people who are known to do something together very often. They're called a duo. So perhaps the show tonight features a duo from Thailand. That might be the advertisement for the show. And look how the word duo is used here. This is a duo. Compare that to the word duet. Now, duet is similar because it's also to do with 2 people performing, but look at the difference here. A duet will be sung during the show. So a duet focuses on what the people do. So here it's the song. Duo focuses on the people themselves. Duo, the people are together. Duet, this is what the performance is. So same meaning but used in slightly different ways. A duel is more of a battle between 2 people, or even if we see animals battling, we can say it's a duel. Another common a way to start words that mean two is to use by. Lots and lots of words begin by, and this by, bi, means two. Here's some examples. Bicycle, remember we looked at unicycle, which was 1 wheel. Now bicycle has 2 wheels. Binary is used a lot in coding in computers, and it's all to do with the fact that computers read everything in zeros and ones. 0 and 1. So there's 2 digits. Binary. Bilateral. Let's go through the meanings of the words here. So bicycle was cycle with 2 wheels. Binary either 0 or 1. But bilateral means involving 2 countries. So a bilateral agreement was made by the presidents. So say you've got 2 presidents of 2 countries. Maybe they're trying to make an agreement to, let's say, reduce the amount of greenhouse gases they use, the amount of petrol, oil or gas they use, and they make an agreement, and it's between 2 countries. We call this a bilateral agreement. Lots of other words that mean to as well. All of these words mean 2 of something. Double, a brace, pair, and couple. Double, pair, and couple are the most used words here. Brace is slightly less used, but they all mean 2 of something. Look at the example. We've got this happy couple, 2 people together. Couple is often used when we talk about people in a relationship. So you could say the couple got married in a small church. Now, a couplet also means 2, but this is to do with lines in a poem or a song that are connected together. And a dichotomy is sometimes used in an advanced formal way when you're describing 2 opposing things. So you could say there is a dichotomy between marriage and a single life because they are 2 opposed things. There are some words that also mean 3 when you see them, and in particular when we see TRI before words, but some others as well. So tricycle, this is a bike with 3 wheels. So remember unicycle 1 wheel, bicycle 2 wheels, tricycle 3 wheels. Triple and treble. So here was the example for tricycle. The child rode her tricycle around the garden. So this is how we would use tricycle. Triple and treble mean 3 times the single amount. So in some games, you can have singles, doubles and triples or trebles. And if the single was 1, the treble or the triple would be 3. Lots of other words that mean that start with TRI, such as triangle. Lots and lots of words. TRI at the start of the word normally means 3 in some way. We also can use 3 at the beginning of a longer word sometimes, such as threesome, and that also means 3 of the word that follows. Now let's move on to larger numbers then. So going even higher, quad refers to 4 of something. So if you say that our profits quadrupled last year, your company is doing really well. So perhaps the profits were $100, but now they are $400. Your profits have gone up 4 times. They have quadrupled. And quin at the start of words sometimes means 5 of something, and sex means 6 of something. And we'll look at examples of these in the next part, where we're going to look at words for numbers of babies, when you have numbers of babies born at one time. So first of all, you're probably familiar with the word twins. Twins is when 2 babies are born at the same time, but sometimes there's more. Sometimes there's 3 babies born at the same time. That's triplets. Quads is 4 at the same time. And then you have quintuplets, sextuplets, and septuplets for 5, 6, and 7 babies born at the same time. Let's go back a step to some slightly more common words to do with numbers, because we haven't covered adjectives yet. You're probably familiar with most of these: 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. And they are adjective forms for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, also used as possessive. But we keep going up like this. So we have 100th and 1000th as well. And generally we use the TH in most instances, except if we're looking at 1st and 2nd. Here's an example. The artwork was the 2nd painting by the artist. So here the word second is describing painting. So it's an adjective for the noun painting. Going bigger still, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 1,000. Again, numbers that you probably come across quite early on in your English journey. But going bigger still, million. Well, this is 1 with 6 zeros at the end. Billion is 1 with 9 zeros at the end. Trillion is 1 with 12 zeros at the end. And then we go up and we have different words for ever increasing numbers until you get to a Google, which is 1 with 1,000,000 zeros at the end. Very, very long very long word if you try to write it all out in digits. Now, over history, there's been some debate that maybe billion is actually 12 digits, not 9. But nowadays, normally, across the world, measurements are accepted like these: million, 6 zeros, billion, 9 zeros, and trillion, 12 zeros. And that's all of the numbers I'm going to cover in this session. Of course, there are many more, because a lot of the root words I've described, uni, bi, tri, have many more than I've explained in this lesson. But if you get using these root words or these alternative number forms, you're going to make your speaking more advanced. You're going to avoid just using basic words for numbers. Look at the links in the description below for more learning from me.